Right, folks, buckle up, because today's Rangers Roundup is absolutely packed with drama, rumors, and a bit of controversy that'll have you shouting at the telly, from Philippe Clement putting the pressure on journalists to transfer targets worth £15 million. You heard that right. This one's got it all. We'll dive into the whispers about Isaac Price and Marco Soldo, talk Shankland stirring the pot on Instagram, and yes, even touch on Celtic dreaming about Tierney while Arteta shuts the door in their faces. And just when you think you've heard it all, we've got a Rangers star who might be jetting off to America. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll have plenty to say about where we're heading in January. Let's get into it. So here we go again, eh? Another old firm clash, another referee controversy. Let's be honest, you'd need to be daft not to see that penalty shout was as clear as a pint in the Loudon. Liam Scales practically gave Cherney a wee cuddle in the box, and yet we end up with a free kick outside. VAR had one job, mate. One job, but no. They've gone and bottled it harder than a Celtic fan facing a European qualifier. And Philippe Clement, fair play to him, didn't mince his words. Asking journalists to dig deep, that's like lighting a fire under the bonfire of every conspiracy theorist out there. Now we've got folk claiming institutional bias, secret handshakes, and who knows what else. Keevans is out here fanning the flames too, accusing Clement of stirring up the madness. But what do they expect? Clement's just been mugged off in a final at Hampton. You'd be raging too. Let's not pretend Rangers fans are the only ones howling at the moon over officiating. Celtic lot are just as bad, crying foul whenever it suits. Motherwell fans are probably throwing their hats into the ring now after Friday's farce. But here's the difference. This wasn't just a wee league match. It was a final. Silverware, glory, all that Rangers graft went up in smoke because of a clown show from VAR. And don't get me started on the human error excuse. If the refs can't handle a simple replay, maybe they need to hang up their whistles and take up gardening instead. At least you can't miss a blooming tulip. But here's the real spicy question for you. Do you reckon there's more to it? Is this just terrible officiating? Or do Rangers fans genuinely think there's something fishy going on when it comes to decisions against us? Let me know what you think. Keep it honest and keep it loud. So it seems Philippe Clement's already got the shopping list out, and top of it might just be Isaac Price, a lad who's been catching the eye over in Belgium. €3 million they're quoting. That's just shy of £2.5 million in case you're wondering. A 21-year-old with 18 caps for Northern Ireland. Not a bad shout for a midfield overhaul, is it still? You've got to wonder if he's ready to handle the pressure cooker that is Rangers. Goodison Park to Standard Liège isn't quite the same as the roar of Rangers, is it? Meanwhile, the Celtic lot are drooling over the idea of bringing Kieran Tierney back home. But Mikel Arteta's not having any of it, is he? The Arsenal boss says Tierney's locked in and loving life in London after a rough patch with injuries. You can almost hear the Celtic faithful gnashing their teeth. Poor Brendan Rodgers, he'll need to keep raiding the clearance bins for left-backs if that's the case. Let's not get too distracted though. Rangers' 1-0 win over Dundee wasn't pretty, but it got the job done. Václav Černy's goal might not have been one for the highlight reels, but 3 points are 3 points, and now we're breathing down Aberdeen's neck. Classic Rangers grind, eh? The priority should surely be at the back, especially after John Souttar's injury. Philippe Clement must be gagging for reinforcements in defence, because right now we're looking about as solid as a house of cards in a Glasgow gale. A new central defender feels like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Then there's the situation up top. If Cyril Dessers is on his way out, and let's be honest, his stint hasn't exactly set the heather on fire, we'll need a striker who can actually hit the back of the net. Competition for the likes of Ianis Hadji and Nedim Bajrami in that creative playmaker role sounds all well and good, but if we can't keep clean sheets or score goals, what's the point? Still, let's not kid ourselves. To make a real go of the season, we need more. The question is, should Clement keep rolling the dice on young talents like Price, or should we be bringing in players who've been around the block and know how to handle the heat? Lawrence Shankland, the name that just won't go away when it comes to Rangers rumors, eh? A cheeky, nice Liam on Instagram, and suddenly the transfer talk is buzzing louder than the wee pie stand at halftime. You've got to hand it to the lad. He knows how to keep himself in the headlines. Now, about that performance from Liam Kelly, stepping in last minute and delivering a clean sheet. That's the stuff of Rangers folklore, isn't it? Kelly might not be a regular starter, but it's moments like these that make you think he's got a part to play in Clement's plans. But as always, the real drama is up front. With Dezers and Igamane potentially heading out the door, Clement might have no choice but to hit the panic button and bring in Shankland. Sure, he's not hitting last season's heights, but 24 goals don't just happen by accident. The lad knows how to find the net, and let's face it, a forward who can do that regularly is worth their weight in gold at Rangers right now. Still, some might say signing Shankland reeks of desperation. 3 goals in 16 games this season doesn't exactly scream ready to lead the line, does it? But then again, January is not exactly overflowing with bargain bin Haalands, is it? So here's one to get you lot talking. If Igamane and Dessers do leave, is Shankland the right man to step in, or are Rangers setting their sights too low? Let's have it. It's all kicking off, isn't it? Rangers are linked to everyone from Croatia to South Africa and even Malaysia. Makes you wonder if Philippe Clement's scouting network is powered by Google Maps. But let's break it down, starting with this Darius Olaru character, a player compared to Steven Gerrard in his prime? Aye, that's some lofty talk, isn't it? 5 million euros, just over 4 million pounds, is a tidy sum, but if he's got even half of Gerrard's bite and drive, it might be worth a punt. The real question is whether he's up for the physical demands of the Scottish game, or if he'll end up hiding from the first slide tackle at Rugby Park. On the flip side, you've got Marco Soldo, younger, cheaper, and absolutely flying in Croatia at the moment. 6 goals and 4 assists from midfield. That's not just numbers. That's a midfield maestro who knows how to contribute. At 21, he'd bring energy to a Rangers squad that could use a bit of zip in the middle. And then there's Ikram Reyners, banging in goals for fun in South Africa. 12 in 16 games is no joke, but let's not kid ourselves. The jump from the PSL to Rangers is a big one. Can he handle the cold, the fans, and the intensity of Ibrox, or are we taking a risk for the sake of a January headline? Now, about Olaru potentially toddling off to America instead, you've got to laugh. The MLS, of all places, it's like trading the Copeland Road Roar for some bloke clapping a drum in the stands. Sure, it's a league on the rise, but let's not pretend it's the step up he's aiming for. So here's the real talking point for you. Do Rangers go all in on Olaru, take a chance on Soldo, or focus on getting someone proven who can hit the ground running? And let's not ignore the reality. Would either of these two have the grit to handle a cold Wednesday night in Dingwall? Let's hear it. If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.